Hello, folks. This is Bob Safale. I'm very, very happy you are all here. We have a big crowd. We still have just a ton of people still trying to get in, so I'm going to stall a little bit. I'm only joking, but yeah, if you try to get in a little as early as possible, because I don't know if this system, if there's sometimes an overload, but sometimes there's an overload. So try to get in maybe 5 minutes early, maybe 10 minutes early, because now I can see a big backup. But at any rate, so very, very happy you could all. We have a special guest that actually was very surprised I could get on. I've been trying to get him on for a while, but before we get started, let's make sure you can actually hear me. So, up in the upper right corner of your screen, you're going to see a hand. So, we need you just to kind of move your hand around or touch that little hand so I can make sure you can hear me. So go ahead, hit your little hand, touch your hand, hit your hand, make sure you can hear me. Oh, this is perfect. Perfecto. Okay, so uh, we have a tremendous amount of news tonight. In fact, there are four major, major news items that have broken since Monday. And I've been telling you, um, there's a lot of the sky is falling starting in late December, and that the sky is falling was going out, and being everybody's sky is falling for roughly 3 months. And that was due in large part to the fact that you have major financial players who are kind of very quietly accumulating a lot of coins. And all in preparation for the summertime. And I've been talking about Goldman Sachs. They're opening up their trading desk, and I said there's going to be a point when most of the whatever coins they could clean off from scaring people to death, they're going to clean off. And they hit that approximately April 12th, April 13th, which was a Thursday or a Friday. And then you had tax day on, I believe, on the 16th, which then moved to the 17th. So you had a lot of push and a lot of people trying to cover their taxes. They're selling off their coins so they could have some money to pay off the taxes on their profits, and that all went absolutely as planned. And now we're going to get into what's happening now since April. It was actually about April 13th, interestingly enough. And we're going to talk about four major news items tonight. But before we get started, I have a special guest and a little drum roll here. His company was founded in, I believe, 1979. I could be corrected on that, but this is literally the first company that was using way back when. I don't even know it was called this then, but they've been using artificial intelligence to predict different near-term activity of various securities, whether it's the stock market, futures, gold, silver, and they have been so on the mark for so many years, it's scary. And I'm going to have this special guest first just give you a quick insight on what they do, how they develop this thing, and then he's going to talk about how they've taken their tremendous discoveries and developments, and they're applying it to the crypto world, and it couldn't be a better time. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Lane Mendelson, who runs Vantage Point. Hello, Lane. How are you doing?
Hey, Bob. Good evening. How are you?
Woo! Boy, I tell you what, things are rolling. They're rolling fast, Lane. They're
Oh,
rolling
yeah.
really fast.
It's been exciting, hasn't it been?
Oh my golly gosh, absolutely. And I just and I love your product. I love being able to cheat. Excuse me, analyze.
Right.
But it's amazing how I'm able to take what you do and match it up to my research, and it's unbelievable. It's like clockwork. It's so scary. But Lane, listen, the first thing I'd like to do is just give you a quick, have you give a 30 seconds on yourself and your company, and maybe another 30 seconds to a minute, minute and a half, whatever you can afford to us on explaining how AI works and all of the variables it takes to predict properly. So with that said, Lane, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much. Well, hey guys, looks like the room is absolutely packed, so I'm excited to be here with you this evening and talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is using artificial intelligence to gain an unfair advantage in the financial markets and specifically in the cryptocurrency markets. As Bob mentioned, my family actually has been involved in the financial markets and specifically using technology to give traders and speculators and investors the upper hand. We all know that when it comes to trading and investing, it's all about the odds. And if you can do things to stack the odds in your favor, that's how you're going to get ahead, and that's how you're going to beat the others, because it's a zero-sum game. Someone's going to lose and someone's going to win, and you need to put yourself on the winning side. And so, so you were right, actually, Bob. 1979 is when my father started the company, and he just turned 70 last month. And I've been working with him side by side since I was actually 6 years old. And I've just, this is my passion. You said talk about it in 30 seconds. I can't say anything in 30 seconds, but here's what I'll tell you. Back in the 1980s, my father was developing trading software. He was the first person in the world to introduce back testing and a way for individuals to test a trading strategy on their computer at the time when most people didn't even have computers. And so my father is in who's who in the world for his invention of back testing for the personal computer. And he's just always been on the cutting edge of technology. Well, he was very, very involved in the financial markets, the stock market, the commodities markets in the 1980s. And in 1987, his software actually gave sell signals prior to the 1987 stock market crash. As you can imagine, he gained a lot of notoriety and a lot of attention because when most people didn't see it coming, he was alerting subscribers, weeks in advance. They were able to protect themselves from that decline and actually profit from it. Right around that time, my father noticed a major shift happening. And now it's commonplace, but in 1987, my father started to realize that the markets and the world was becoming global. In other words, what happened in China, what happened in Europe, what happened in other parts of the world had an impact on the US markets. And so he started to develop this concept called inter-market analysis, where he was actually trying to analyze how other markets can impact a particular currency or a particular stock that he was trading. And so, he started doing the research and he started analyzing the data, and he realized, oh my gosh, there is so much data. How can a human being analyze all of this and make sense of it and then turn that into something that's actionable where he can actually pull the trigger, make a trading decision and be right? And that's what led him to artificial intelligence. And so back in around 1988, 89, my father started working very seriously with AI, artificial intelligence, when almost nobody knew what it was. A lot of people thought he was this crazy mad scientist, and I guess he was at that time. Now everyone looks at him and says, oh my God, this guy was a genius and several decades ahead of his time. But he started using artificial intelligence to analyze patterns in data. In other words, if the US dollar is strong, what's that going to do to the euro? If the euro is weak, what's that going to do to the price of gold? He was analyzing all of these intermarket and global market relationships. And so if you flash forward, now it's been, about 30 years later, we have perfected the art of using data from other markets to predict the market or the stock or the currency that you want to trade. And we've been working for the last several years in the cryptocurrency market. And when a lot of people thought that the cryptocurrency markets are unpredictable or erratic or maybe just fear and greed based, it's not true. The cryptocurrency markets are like any other legitimate currency or stock. They are being driven and impacted by other market forces.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about, Lane. I hate
Yeah.
to cut you off, but there,
No, please.
when I came out to your headquarters, the
Hmm.
one thing that I could best describe how you do what you do is I call it 6 degrees of separation. It was
Yep.
amazing how you showed me how, pork bellies can affect silver, and silver can affect AT&T, and AT&T can affect this bond, and this bond can affect that stock, and these all these lines would you could aim at one particular stock, and you showed me how you could take one stock and it was like 150 different variables all basically raining down on this one thing. See, that was what shocked me.
Well,
Was
that's the biggest thing. If someone wants to know, if you say, I want to know where the price of Amazon is going to go, where the price of Apple, where the price of Bitcoin, where the price of Ethereum, if you want to know where something's going to go, you have to look at, well, what are the factors that are going to impact it and cause it to move either up or down? That's what we're doing. It's a simple concept, but to actually perform that type of analysis, and you're right, there are literally thousands and thousands of different pieces of data that are being analyzed by our software each night using artificial intelligence to predict where the price of, let's say, Bitcoin is going to go by first taking a step back before it even looks at Bitcoin. It says, what factors impact Bitcoin? And then starts analyzing it. And some of the ones, I showed you when you were here, Bob, but I mean, you look at all of the factors that our artificial intelligence system has identified that impact Bitcoin. Some of them make sense. Others, you look at it and you go, God, I never would have thought that that had an impact on Bitcoin. And it's those hidden patterns and those hidden market relationships that really drive these markets. And that's what we've been able to capture. And that's why our customers have been so successful in the stocks and more recently in the cryptocurrency markets.
one of the things that intrigued, and I got that. That's amazing. One of the things that intrigued me was how you really tested a given piece of data. I call it ripening, and you don't really consider it seems something ripe until you have at least 2 years of back knowledge on it. Am I close? That's what I kind of focused on. How close am I to totally understanding it?
Yeah, you're right. See, here's the thing. Because the software is using AI to analyze patterns and data, we have to have enough data for the AI to analyze. So if I show you a little snapshot of the last 3 days, I say, look at the last 3 days, tell me what patterns you see. There may be no discernible patterns. I show you a bigger chunk of time, a year or so. Well, then the AI can look at it and say, oh, I see patterns, I see patterns, I see patterns, and these patterns are repeatable. And they repeat over and over and over. And so by analyzing these patterns and looking at how other markets drive the Bitcoin to do these patterns repeatedly, we're seeing, oh, when this happens and this happens and this happens, Bitcoin goes up. When this happens and this happens and that happens, Bitcoin goes down. And that's how we're able to forecast. It's not magic. It's using technology. It's using data. It's looking for patterns and mining that data, making it easy for you and I and everyone on the show tonight to see very quickly and easily and crystal clearly what this currency is going to do over the next couple of days. And we're able to achieve that with an 86% accuracy rate.
That's an unbelievable rate. And what I've now put up in front of everybody, if you're in the video game world, this would be called a cheat code. I'm once again joking there a little bit, but this is literally a screen on Bitcoin on the AI Vantage Point's AI system. And Lane, could you explain what's being shown here?
Yeah, it's real simple, and we work with a lot of people who are newer to the cryptocurrency markets or just newer to trading in the financial markets, but they want to get financial freedom and they want to be able to take some amount of money and make it grow. And we've provided them a way to do that very easily. We've color coded it. I mean, you can't mess it up, right? So here's what you're looking at. Whenever the area is shaded green up above, that's the software's indication and prediction that the trend will continue going up. But when the shading turns from green to red, like it did over in December, that's the software's prediction that the trend is going to start going down. And so you're really just looking for the artificial intelligence mechanism to indicate green or red, indicating up or down. And down below, you'll notice that little band where it goes from green to red. that is another predictive indicator. And if you're like me, I like to be conservative. If I make a trade, I want to make sure it's going to be a darn good trade. So what you do is you use the indicator up above, the green and red shading, to indicate trend direction, and you confirm that with the green and red bar along the bottom to make sure it's in agreement. So if you're thinking about buying, like if you look, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, Vantage Point nailed the bottom here on Bitcoin, said, hey, this thing's going to start going up. And you can see the green shading started a couple of weeks ago. Down below, that indicator also went green. You got a second doctor's opinion, everything is screaming, this thing's going up. And that would have been.
So both doctors were saying, do it, have the surgery.
Absolutely. There was no question right there that this thing was not going to go up, because you've got two different predictive indicators. They're using all different types of mathematics between the two of them. So when they both start pointing up, it's going to be a blockbuster move. And of course, you can see what it's done. And if you look even
further, can I ask you one real quick, Lane? Now, how far ahead is this? Is it like a day ahead? Is it? I mean, you have to. I guess you have to really look at the trend, because you see that. You could see, say, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, you see a pretty fat green at the top, and a green light at the bottom. It looks, that it seems that tells me, hey, let's keep on hold. Let's add or accumulate.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I see here.
Anyway. That's exactly right, and that's the whole thing. Is, I mean, it jumps off the chart for you. We designed it that way. There's a lot going on under the hood, but our customers, they don't want to spend a lot of time. They want to look at this quickly, 5-10 seconds, get the information they need, off to the races. But here's what you'll notice. This is interesting. Back in November, Shirley was forecasting it to go up, called the top almost to the day. And you can see it's been very accurate on these intermediate term trends since then. But here's the thing to notice, and this, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek of what Vantage Point's forecasting right now for Bitcoin. Okay, the indicator down below you can see is turned red, but the indicator up above is still shaded green. So what this means is that the overall trend direction is still predicted to go up, but don't be surprised if there's a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of weakness. And this is where this is going to save you. See, a lot of people, if they see something go up, then it starts going down, they get freaked out. They sell, they don't know what to do, they get confused. This is going to guide you. It's saying the overall trend is up. Don't be caught off guard if there's some weakness. And when there are times of weakness, like you said, Bob, those are great times to accumulate more of that asset.
Interesting. So right now, you got a little bit of a caution light. Maybe it's a little bit yellow. You're saying, oh, hey, just hang, don't do anything. Let's watch a little bit more. Is that pretty much?
That's absolutely. Absolutely. It's giving you it's kind of waving a little cautionary flag in front of you, which helps you to be more conservative, and also kind of just keeps you alert, which is important as well.
You want to go down and check out what's happening with, what's our next one? We have Bitcoin Cat. Woo!
Here's Ethereum. Yeah. See,
this is Ether right here? Or
yep.
Is it, okay, good. Okay, great.
So you can see this is the same time frame. We're looking at the last 6 months is what we're looking at here. But I mean, tremendous opportunities to profit on the way up. And then you can see we pretty much called the top there in just after the first of the year. You can see it, and then if you look over to the far right, where the software said, okay, this thing's going to take off, it's going to go on a run again, nailed it to the day, and you can see where the shading turned green, and then you've got your neural index, that indicator down below. I didn't want to get too technical, but it's called the neural index. It's either green or red, that bar on the bottom. You can see that thing went green at the same time. All systems go. This thing's going to take off.
Well, it's interesting. If you take a look on the very right side with Ethereum, the green shaded area on the top is quite a bit wider than Bitcoin. It looks wider, so maybe you're still accumulating a little bit there, but it looks a little tastier. Am I right?
Yep. That's exactly how you interpret it. It's very simple. Yeah, you're looking, the wider the gap between that blue and that black line, so the wider the green shaded area, the stronger the uptrend is expected to be. So if those lines start to get narrow, like they did on Bitcoin, that's that cautionary sign. And you'll notice that the blue line on Ether here, it had been going up, but look what it's done here in the last 2 days. It's kind of leveled off.
Yeah.
Again, giving you a little sign of caution there. And of course, you've got your neural index turned red. It's not telling you that it's not going to keep going up. It's just saying, don't be surprised if there's some short-term weakness.
Interesting. Now we have one more.
Yep, let's look at Litecoin.
Oh, let's look at Litecoin.
Yep.
Now this is really interesting because it looks like Litecoin had a nicer jump, kind of a nicer reversal back in just before March than the other currencies. It looks like it had a nicer pop, but there you go. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. That's why we have these three specifically in Vantage Point, because a lot of people think that all of the cryptocurrencies are going up or all of them are going down, but they don't realize that these currencies are all independent. And so what's important is that you can look at Vantage Point, you can look at the Bitcoin forecast, you can look at the Ethereum forecast, you can look at Litecoin, and you can pick and choose. It's not all or none. You can say, which one looks best right now? If I'm going to go and I'm going to accumulate some more, what should I be accumulating? And sometimes it might be Bitcoin, other times it might be Ethereum or Litecoin. And so you're going to use the information from all three of these charts to determine what's the best decision for me at this point in time.
Let me tell you why that's. I don't want to forget this, Lane. This is so important. I have talked in the last few weeks about different exchanges and different tools for buying and selling coins, and I've talked about one which is called GDAX, and another which is called Coinbase. Now I like GDAX. That's GDAX because first of all, the commission when you sell and buy stuff, it's very, very small. It's really infinitesimal. So I like that because I can sit here and take your platform, and if I want to make a little push into Bitcoin a week and a half ago because my Litecoin numbers are going, it wasn't looking, because you see you have almost no green at all about 10 days ago at the top, and you have a little red. So I was able to go, okay, I want to maybe move a little bit more in the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash direction, but I was able to do it without getting killed on commissions,
right.
You trades. And so it's also important when you have something like this, make sure you're using a tool that's going to allow you to buy and sell and not kill you when you're doing each transaction.
Yep. Yeah, that's an important point. You have to treat this like a business. If you want your business to grow, you want it to be successful, and you want it to be consistently successful, you got to have the right tools and you have to have the right resources. So some of those resources that you're mentioning, Bob, that gives people the proper outlet for actually making those transactions, and Vantage Point's giving them the insight and the edge so that they can properly time those decisions, because it's all about timing. The difference between someone who makes money and someone who doesn't make money, or someone who makes a lot of money or someone who makes a little bit of money, it's all about timing. When did you get in? When did you get out? If you don't have that timing dialed in, you're going to be a very frustrated person. But if you can dial in the timing, and that's exactly what we've been doing for over 30 years, it makes it fun, it makes it enjoyable, and you feel great, because when you do make a decision, you know that with 86% accuracy, chances are you're going to make money. And that, of course, making money is why we're doing all this.
Well, and it's talk about timing. Here, folks, you want to hear about some timing? The same when Lane and I met, I actually met him personally for the first time while he was shooting a show with Kevin Harrington, his new Business Icon show that's on Fox Business Channel. That's where it's being broadcast. And I met him and I said, whoa, boy, is this good timing. I literally said, Lane, I got to get up to your headquarters like yesterday. and the upshot of all that is we agreed to put together, which is effectively an exclusive for Digital Frontier Marketing, which is a package that we do that's just crypto only. And I tell you what, we've got a crypto only predictor package. And Lane, I can't thank you enough for even considering putting that together. But I mean, we have a lot of people in our system. So
Yeah, well, we've never done something like that before, but when you and I started talking, and I really liked everything that you're doing with your group, and then I know what our software can do and the power that it has. I thought, you know what, this is going to be just a great marriage and a great partnership, and we love helping people. We love seeing people become successful and the testimonials that pour in, and so it's. I know you've had a lot of people have already started to jump on the bandwagon with
oh
this
yeah, oh
exclusive
yeah.
offer, and it's really been great.
Well, let me just tell you how good. I'm not going to tell you the exact numbers, but this is by percentage what Lane did for us. If you were to go direct to Vantage Point, the package he assembled would essentially be almost, let me do my math quick, almost 80%. He's effectively given us an 80% discount. And on top of that, I'm providing for 50 people, we're almost done, 10,000 cloud coins because I want a group of 50 VIPs that are learning and using this because we want to launch this all over the country and we want specific people to be testimonial folks, to be folks that, and we're already, Lane, I've been sending you some of the success stories already.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Holy,
been amazing.
you should have seen the one today. I haven't had a chance to send you the one today, but it was really, really something. I mean, so Lane, I'm going to tell people how to get in touch with me
Okay.
to become part of the VIP group. Folks, just email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, and I'll send you the special instructions on how you could be part of that because I need you to email me directly because I want to make sure you get your 10,000 cloud coins, which is essentially, well, I'm not going to spoil the news, but you will be shocked at the program that we put together. It's an entire year of access to this data. It's unbelievable. And you don't have to be trading, 10, 15, $20,000 worth of currency to make a huge benefit from this. I mean, you as you can see with currencies, they go up and down big numbers. So you don't have to be trading a huge number to really grow. Would that be have you found that to be true,
Yeah,
Lane?
absolutely. I think that the smaller traders, the people who have smaller amounts of money, they need something like this even more. If you've got a ton of money, hey, if you make some silly mistakes, you don't know what you're doing, you lose some money, who cares? You got plenty more. But if you're working with a smaller amount of money, you got to make every single trade, every single decision. It's really got to count, and you got to be right. And so, yeah, this really stacks the odds in your favor, and that's what you're doing by giving people the cloud coins. I mean, I've got some myself already that I've accumulated.
That's
That's
right.
that's a tremendous offer.
That's a good buy. Well, listen, Lane, I want to thank you for attending. At the end of this event, I'm going to give the information on how you can get in part of Lane's VIP group. This is a exclusive deal. He's given us a crazy benefit to get involved, and I want to thank you so much for attending our briefing tonight, Lane.
Hey, thank you, Bob, and thanks everybody. And I look forward to hearing about all your success stories.
You bet. Thank you much. All righty. So, folks, I'm going to have to roll through very quickly because I've got to hit these four key pieces of news that are genuinely huge. I'm going to go right to the next item. This is Bloomberg. Now, I want you to read that headline. Bloomberg to launch cryptocurrency index. Stop the presses. I have been saying over and over again that there was a lot of sky is falling to basically, I mean, the old trick by the money changers in the past and the bankers of the last, 100 years has been effectively to scare people out of their assets at a lower price. It's the old buy low, sell high. And for the last 4 months, the folks that decided, okay, it's time to make a lot of money with this crypto, who saw the writing on the wall, said, well, we need to shake down some folks, get some currencies at a cheap price, and then when everything starts rolling in June, July, and August, we're in a great position. Well, I'm telling you, the curve is now changing towards a full green light. And this Bloomberg has announced that they are going to start a 10 currency index that they're going to be updating every single month, and they'll be showing you, and it's weighted towards the size of what's called the market cap. The market cap is the total number of coins out there times the dollar value. And obviously, Bitcoin is dominating, but still, take a look at the currencies that are going to be in the Bloomberg Index, which is going to be basic live real-time information about 10 different coins, I believe, for the next 30 days. So the start date was May 3rd, and the coins that they are featuring are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Litecoin, Dash, Monero, Ethereum Classic, and Zcash. I think I've talked about 7 of these coins in the last few weeks and given alerts out them with the DEAR program. But the fact that Bloomberg is coming out to start an index on cryptocurrencies. Now, what does that let you know? I keep on every once in a while I get somebody emailing me saying, "Oh my gosh, they're going to kill, cryptocurrencies. The regulators are going to stop it, blah blah blah." And I'm telling you, it's too big now. It's just too big. There's like 27 million people who have wallets now that are trading. It's too big. It's way too big. It's moving towards $1 trillion. That's too much money now. As they would say, the horses are out the barn door. So the fact that Bloomberg is starting an index tells you everything. Now, for you folks who got involved with our Celebrium collectibles, check out the next headline. That's right. And this is Yahoo Finance, okay? That's what I'm saying. The big news outlets online are now starting to jump in the game. You have Bloomberg, here you have Yahoo Finance, and what do they say? NBA superstar Stephen Curry inks deal to release his own crypto kitties. Crypto kitties. That's interesting. What the heck is a crypto kitty? Well, a crypto kitty is a digital cat that can be designed in any way that the author wants to do it, such as Stephen Curry. He can make his own unique crypto kitty, which is considered a tokenized digital asset. Folks, do I need to remind you guys about the patent pending that we have? That's right, the Celebrium Celebrity Collectible. Interesting, eh? I wonder if the folks at CryptoKitty would just started checked out some rights. I don't know. We'll see. But the real point here is that we have now there's 2 huge celebrities in the basketball world. One is LeBron James, and the other is Stephen Curry. And to give you an idea of how fast CryptoKitties is growing, which some could argue is simply a digital asset that can be designable, but the bottom line is they have 15 million subscribers now, and they've now made in just a few short months $40 million in transactional fees on CryptoKitties. And this is their first celebrity. So are we a little bit excited here over at Celebrium? Oh, you bet. And I'm going to give you an update on that as well. So this is another example of everything's pushing into the mainstream. And this news story was on the 7th of May, which was Monday. Here's the next. Oh boy, wait till you see this news. Ready to get excited? Look at this. NASDAQ is open to becoming cryptocurrency exchange. Are you kidding me? Look at that. NASDAQ. They're signaling that they want to become a cryptocurrency exchange. Once again, the more tools that are out there that people have access to make it easier to buy currencies, the more people will flush in. I remind you that there's only about 27 million wallets out there. 7 billion people live on planet Earth. Only 27 million have wallets right now. So the percentage of people that are involved in the cryptocurrency world, even though it's almost $1 trillion market cap, is less than, I believe, a half of 1%. So they call early adopters the people that are between, I believe, 3% on up to, I think, 14%. So you folks on this briefing are not, you're not just early adopters, you're pre-early adopters. So what this means is anything involved with this cryptocurrency world at this stage has the benefit of a giant future market flooding in. So any currency, any token, any system to help buy or sell the tokens that's in the middle of being proven out, developed, optimized, all of us are way early, and all we have to do is persist and continuing to optimize what we're doing, such as CloudCoin, such as what we're about to launch with Celebrium, such as some of the other things that I'm working on right now. So we are really, really early, and the tidal, we in the horizon, you don't even see the tidal wave yet. You see the water kind of pulling back right now. You haven't seen the wave. The water is receding or pulling away from the shore. That's what we're at right now. So NASDAQ talking about becoming a cryptocurrency exchange is enormous news. And it just came out. So once again, these are all the signals that are being driven that are saying cryptocurrencies are here to stay for a long time. Now I'm going to give you the next signal. Huge news. Banks and cryptocurrencies global evaluation, Africa. So now the continent that's really positioning themselves right now to take full advantage of the crypto world is Africa. Why? Because it's the largest single area which has the most unbanked people. These are people who don't have bank accounts. Yet their growth rate and their economic numbers are rising. And they are probably going to be the first almost totally wireless continent in the world. Like there's some infrastructure. Obviously there's infrastructure in cities like Cairo, major cities in Africa, St. Petersburg, on and on. But there are huge swaths of countryside or country within Africa that don't have standard telephony cable infrastructure. They just don't. So they're really focusing on wireless and smartphones. Well, smartphones are ideally positioned to be the new banking center. Smartphones are going to be the banking center. That's what people are going to be using for banking. And it's already started to happen, particularly when you have blockchain and other counterfeit defeating technologies. It's the cell phone that's going to be your money exchange. I'm just telling you, that's where everything is going. And in Africa, with a huge population, right now, many of the countries are basically setting up and positioning their regulatory kind of environment to be very liberal. And I mean liberal not in a political sense, but in a open sense, the other definition of liberal. So in Africa, look to see regulations being very open, being very market friendly, being very consumer friendly. And the thing that I've found that if you have one area in the world that's racing ahead of the other areas in the world, the people in the other areas of the world are going to go, they're going to look at the trend, and that trend is going to be opening up the cryptocurrency space to regulation, open regulations. So all these other continents, they're not going to want to be left out in the cold while Africa is racing ahead. So that's a huge development that's going to affect the regulatory world. Because I said I want to talk about 4 major items of news that are huge. So we have Bloomberg talking about, opening up their exchange or an index. Okay, you're going to have, let me pull it up here again, get the headline up for you. Here we go. Come on, little mouse. My little mouse is not cooperating. Here we go. They're opening up they're opening up the first major crypto index. We have NBA superstar Stephen Curry, and what is he doing? He's just inked a deal for the release of his own crypto kitties. So that's an example of a tokenized digital valuable. Then we've got NASDAQ, which is now signaled that they're going to be becoming a cryptocurrency exchange. And then last, you have Africa signaling that they're going to be having a very open regulatory environment. Now, I want to just note down a couple quick news items. With Celebrium, I just saw our vault today, which is essentially a wallet. Oh, is it pretty? It is really, 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 really nice looking, and it's really, really, really easy to use, and it's being tested right now, and I'm really, really excited about that. And so that's fantastic. Next week, remember, I'm taping a show about Celebrium next week, May 17th, which is fantastic. And last but not least, before I'm going to give a shout out again on what's happening with our artificial intelligence. One last thing. Today, I did a 45-minute radio show for the Bay Area in San Francisco. And guess what I talked about? That's right. I talked about Celebrium. And I talked about collectibles. And the 2 radio show guys went nuts. They were like, oh my gosh. I mean, the reaction was even better than I predicted. So I'm doing a little bit of test driving on what's on our Celebrium product. Now, just to reiterate, on our AI, our artificial intelligence, it's a special package. It's designed just for folks interested in prediction on cryptocurrencies. We have a exclusive package that we have with Vantage Point. I think you'll be shocked when you hear how low cost it is. And I'm also supplying you 10,000 cloud coins to get involved. We're looking for 50 people. We're looking for testimonials to go to stage 2. And I'm encouraging people to get involved by supplying the cloud coins. You need to email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, put the subject line artificial intelligence, and I'll send you the instructions. Now let's go ahead and do our drawing for 10,000 cloud coins. We have a very big audience tonight, so I've got to put in my numbers here, and we're going to do our drawing. It is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. 97, number 97. Whoever came in is the 97th in, has now won 10,000 cloud coins. And you'll be notified by tomorrow, and we'll let you all know who that is. I'm telling you, I'm loving the news we're seeing. I'm loving the trends we're seeing. As you can see, the cryptocurrency tidal wave is now just about coming over the horizon. Next week, I want to give you some more information on exactly how many people are involved and how that's going to affect you. So look out for that storyline next week and much, much more. Once again, if you want to get involved with our test group, AI test group, you email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com. digitalcurrencygrowth.com, bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, and I'll send you the information on how to get involved. Thank you very much for attending. I appreciate it. Thank you.